Γεια σου Προκολόγο, καλώς ήρθες στο κανάλι. Είμαι ο Mysta και σήμερα θα δούμε το βιντεάκι που έσκασε πριν και μέρες. Δεν πρόλαβα να το δω, θα το δω τώρα για το God of War Shaping the Story. Δηλαδή πώς σχημάτισαν, πώς φτιάξανε την ιστορία, πώς δημιουργήσανε την ιστορία. Δεν έχω ιδέα τι είναι αυτό. Πάμε να το δούμε μαζί. Και ανυπομονούμε, 9 Νοεμβρίου βγαίνει το Ragnarok. Θα γίνει χαμός, κάνε subscribe, χτύπα καμπανάκι. Μην χάσεις τα live, έρχεται κάτι που δεν μπορώ να μιλήσω ακόμα. Αλλά θα δεις, είναι κάτι πολύ ωραίο. Οπότε κάνε subscribe, μην το χάσεις.
We're coming off of God of War 2018. How do you top that?
Πώς για?
How do you deliver something that players will love maybe just as much as God of War 2018? The pressure was tremendous.
Σε πιστεύω, σε πιστεύω. Πανέμορφο ρε. Αλλά τριχιάζω!
My name is Ariel Angelotti, and I am the senior producer for narrative.
My name is Richard Gobert. I'm the story lead for God of War Ragnarok.
I'm Jody Kupsko, and I'm the supervising dialogue designer.
It's my job to shape the story along with our writing team, our narrative director, and game director.
As a producer, it's my job to help build a team to create that content.
Λένε πώς φτιάχνουν ιστορία.
The schedule and realizing that content.
I oversee the dialogue production throughout the entire titles. Every line of dialogue that you hear, every human vocalization and effort and grunt, our team touches.
So I'm a man now, like you?
No. We are not men.
We are more than that. Όλα τριχιάζω, δεν είναι καλά. Δώσε ρε Kratos!
In the story of God of War 2018, we find Kratos having turned over a new leaf in the Norse lands. He lives a quiet life, hidden in the woods with his wife Faye and their son Atreus. And the story starts with them mourning her death. And we learn that she made a final request before she passed away. She wanted them to spread her ashes from the highest peak in all the 9 realms. He's scared of being a bad father, a bad influence, and as a result,
Δείτε τα μάτια του πόσο πονάνε.
His greatest fear is that he's passed that evil that's inside of him onto his son.
You are too quick to temper. You are rash, insubordinate, and out of control. This will not stand. You will honor your mother and abandon this path you have chosen. It is not too late.
Ανατριχίλα, δεν είμαι καλά.
Who is an exiled Vanir goddess who used to be married to Odin. They meet Mimir, the self-proclaimed smartest man alive, who serves as their guide and their confidant. And they meet the Holdra brothers, Brock and Sindri, world-class weaponsmiths who end up their main source of upgrades and equipment. Now, among the enemies they make are the Aesir gods. Whose leader is none other than Odin, someone we never meet in God of War 2018, but who casts a very long and dark shadow over the 9 realms.
Oh yes. There are consequences to killing a god.
Why? How do you know? How do you know?
Αμάτα.
After many adventures, Kratos and Atreus end up fulfilling Mom's wishes, and over the course of that journey, they find out more about each other and about themselves, and finally find a common ground between them. They become the close family unit that Faye hoped that they would become.
Μπράβο ρε Faye, Faye ρε, σε αγαπάμε. Όπα, νάτο.
In God of War Ragnarok, we fast forward a few years, and little Atreus is now a teen, and they're back to hiding out in their home in the woods in Midgard. During the course of the previous game's events, they were forced to kill Odin's grandchildren, Magni and Modi, the sons of Thor. Thor does a lot of the lion's share of Odin's dirty work, and as a consequence, he's a very violent, unstable personality. At the end of the last game, they were also forced to kill Balder, the son of Odin and Freya, and that has its own set of consequences. He was a very powerful chess piece for Odin, one that Odin is incredibly bitter about losing. Freya has vowed vengeance against them for the killing of her son. Kratos and Atreus didn't want to kill him, they were friends with Freya, but Balder tried to kill her in front of them, and Kratos had no other option in the moment but to kill him to save Freya's life, even though it meant losing Freya's friendship.
I will parade your cold body from every corner of
Πω αυτό
every
να
realm
τριχύλα ήτανε ρε.
and feed your soul to the
Του
vilest
σε
filth in hell. That is my promise.
He saved your life.
He robbed me of
Το voice acting. Θα κλάψω.
everything.
His death is also foretold to bring about Fimbulwinter,
Ναι, ναι,
which is
ναι.
a brutal 3-year winter that is then followed by Ragnarok.
Ω, δες πως
It's an
άλλαξαν όλα.
apocalyptic war between all the Norse gods, the giants, the dwarves, and the elves,
Oh, yes.
and an army of the dead. They're all destined to fight in a battle that basically ends the world. Kratos is understandably worried about his son and what it means for him.
You get to go on this journey with how Atreus grows into a young adult and how Kratos grows into his next era in his life, and really see kind of the parent that he's striving to be, but the person he's striving to be. I find that tale so incredibly relatable.
Ναι, ναι, ναι.
We had started shooting
Είναι relatable.
plenty of content before the pandemic hit. In fact,
Νάτος,
a week
Christopher
before we all
Judge.
went, work from home, we were doing a
Αγκεμπόδα.
shoot.
Νάτος ο
I
Ατρέος.
remember being on and off that set, running back to the office and having
Αγκεμπόδα.
to talk to studio leadership about what was going down and how this was going to impact us moving forward. And those were trying times.
For us, it was a very unique challenge because we had to bring in actors and we had to record them. And so we had to look at different ways of adapting our typical motion capture process and dialogue recording process so we can continue production and continue at the quality that we wanted for our players and our fans.
We had some actors stand in for other characters, actors who were already, who were like core to one of the scenes, might just be able to play a background character in another scene to be able to avoid a situation where too many people were on set on any given day. We avoided compromising the story that we were trying to tell as a result of the pandemic and these limitations that we had to deal with. There were no cinematics that we changed. We still have the same characters in them in the final game. We just had to get a bit creative with how we shot the content.
Our actor for Atreus, Sonny, is a teenage boy, and his voice changed dramatically throughout the several years on this title.
I don't want to fight anyone.
Νάτος, μεγάλος και η φωνή του, ναι, όντως.
We had to go in and even out that performance so it sounds like it took place over a short period of time. That was a unique challenge on this one.
Ναι, ναι, λογικό.
War is coming.
Whether the Norse saga was going to be a trilogy or just 2 games was something we debated.
Αυτό, πολύ σημαντικό.
There were obviously pros and cons for either approach. So we waited for Cory Barlog to weigh in, and he did, and he said, let's do it in 2.
The consequence to that is, how do you wrap up the story in one game?
Ναι, ρε
And
φίλε.
do Ragnarok justice? How do we lead up to that and then
Κάντο 100 ώρες να γουστάρουμε, ρε.
at the end of the game and wrap up all those loose threads? This game is bigger than what we initially envisioned. There's a lot of important story moments that we needed to cover. There are more characters that we follow the threads of, and ultimately it ends up feeling big and epic because there is a lot there for people to enjoy.
I am very excited for folks to see this final chapter. A lot happens. We put our characters through the ringer, but we also bring them closure and we provide answers to a lot of the questions the first game posed.
Just all of the new combat that we're doing and the new interactions. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in this title that I think people are going to have fun with.
We all have our own personal Ragnaroks to deal with, and this story is about how you process that, how you own it, and how you make it a part of yourself and grow from it.
I mean, we set some stuff up. At the end of last game, there's going to be some consequences this game. We're going to see how things play out between Freya and Kratos. We're going to see how the evolution of the family relationship continues. You got Brock and Sindri, the dwarves, who are kind of part of your makeshift family now. There's going to be some other characters that we introduce that maybe going to disrupt the balance a little bit. I can't wait until players get their hands on the game or are able to experience how the story unfolds for themselves.
We have, I think, an incredibly well-rounded game. Very satisfying combat, beautiful and rich environments to explore, outstanding character art, a lush and moving soundtrack and soundscape. It's the work of hundreds of very dedicated artists, and they all have their own stories to tell.
Ah! Let's go! Woohoo! Yes! Δεν μπορώ, παιδιά, απίστευτο. Λατρεύω αυτά τα βιντεάκια που εξηγούν πώς φτιάχνουν το παιχνίδι, εξηγούν πώς δουλεύουν, πώς αισθάνονται ο καθένας που το φτιάχνει, τα συναισθήματά τους, ανησυχίες τους, όλα αυτά που λένε. Αν δεν έχεις δει το Raising Kratos, θα προσπαθήσω να αφήσω ένα link στο description. Δες το. Είναι πραγματικά εκπληκτικό. Δείχνει ακριβώς όλη την ιστορία, πώς σκέφτηκε ο Κόρη το τέτοιο, πώς τον επηρέασε η αληθινή του, η προσωπική του ζωή και έφερε κομμάτια της προσωπικής του ζωής στο παιχνίδι. Παιδιά, στην ιστορία το λέω και να τριχιάζω. Είναι εκπληκτικό αυτό το πράγμα που φτιάχνουν εκεί πέρα. Είναι πραγματικά καλλιτέχνες. Είναι η αφρόκραμα. Είναι το τέρμα σπασμένο στη βιομηχανία. Και δεν μπορώ. Έχω τρελαθεί, μου αρέσει πάρα πολύ και ανυπομονώ, παιδιά, να ζήσουμε αυτό το έπος μαζί, γιατί αποφάσισα να μην το παίξω μόνος μου, αλλά να κάνω stream όλο το παιχνίδι εδώ μαζί σας, να το ξεκοκαλίσουμε, να κάνουμε σχεδόν κάθε μέρα stream. Δεν μπορώ να πω όμως, γιατί συνέβησαν κάποια πράγματα και σας ευχαριστώ γι' αυτό από τώρα, θα καταλάβετε γιατί. Που δεν μπορώ ακόμα να αποκαλύψω. Σύντομα θα αποκαλύψουμε, παιδιά, θα γίνουν πολλά μεγάλα πράγματα με το God of War. Οπότε θες να κάνεις subscribe, χτύπα καμπανάκι, ενεργοποιήσει όλες τις ειδοποιήσεις για να μην χάσεις το content. Μπες στο Discord αν θες να μαθαίνεις τα νέα γρήγορα πρώτος και γενικά να είσαι up to date σε ό,τι κάνουμε εδώ πέρα. Ένα θα σας πω, μείνετε συντονισμένοι γιατί Ragnarok is coming. Και όπως πάντα, happy gaming.